Hi, I'm Stella from Maple University, and you are watching Dan Pancaldi from No Enmity Wargaming News. Pew pew!
Games and a new direction in gaming. Stalin's World War III. Stalin's World War III is a 2-game package. Volume 1, Operation Pincher and the Soviet Offensive in Europe. Volume 2, Operation Sandown and the Soviet Offensive in the Middle East. This is an alternative history monster-sized war game designed by Ty Bomba. The complexity is 6 out of 10, solitaire suitability is 8 out of 10, the time scale is 10 one-week turns, the map scale is 20 miles, 32.4 kilometers per hex on all maps, units of maneuver, regiments, brigades, divisions, corps, and armies. This is a 1 to 4 player game, playing time 3 to 5 hours. What you get with this game are 4 maps, 4 counter sheets of 9/16 of an inch counters, 2 player aid cards, 2 rule books, 4 6-sided dice, and a box and a lid. Pacific Tide, the United States versus Japan, 1941 to 1945. This is a game designed by Gregory M. Smith of the Hunters and Silent Victory fame. This is a compact strategic level game covering the struggle between the United States, including some Commonwealth forces, and Japan in World War II. Complexity of this game is a 3 out of 10, solitaire suitability is 8 out of 10, the time scale is a single year turn with alternating multiple card plays per player. The map scale is an area map. The unit scale from individual carriers or carrier groups, fleets, army level infantry, and air groups. This is a 1 to 2 player game, best with 2. Playing time is 2 to 4 hours. What you get with this game is 1 map, 17 by 22 inch, 1 counter sheet of 9/16 of an inch counters, 51 game cards, rulebook, 2 player aid cards, 16-sided dice, and, well, yeah. High Flying Dice has got a couple of games out, the first one being Profile and Courage, PT-109, the campaign of PT-109 in 1943. This is a solitaire game designed by Rod Bauer, developed by Paul Rohrbaugh. The graphics are Bruce Yerian. What you get with this game is 1 11 by 17 inch map, 22 single-sided 3/4 inch counters and markers, 24 card player deck, a rule book, and a player aid. Land of Confusion Volume 3, The Battle of Hofgap, 1985. This is a game designed by Paul Rohrbaugh. The artist is Ilya Kudryashov, developed by Lisa Rohrbaugh. What you get with this game are 2 11 by 17 inch maps, 112 double-sided units, 1 player aid, 1 8-page rulebook. Hollenspiel, Brave Little Belgium, a game designed by Ryan Heilman and Dave Shaw. The map artist is Anya Bizialkowska. The duration of this game is 90 minutes. It's a 2-player game. Solitaire suitability is high, and the theme is World War I. What you get with this game is 1 22 by 17 inch map, 88 5/8 of an inch counters, an 8-page rulebook, and 8 6-sided dice. Modern War Magazine, Eternal War, Chechnya, 1994 to 2009. The game is the Chechen War, designed by Javier Romero. The artist is Joe Yost, published by Decision Games. What you get with this game is 1 22 by 34 inch map and 1 sheet of 144 counters. Avalanche Press, Second World War at Sea, Sea of Iron, naval action on the Baltic Seas, 1939 to 1945. This game you get a 11 by 17 inch map, 140 long ship pieces, and 420 standard-sized square ones, representing smaller warships, transports, aircrafts, and a handful of markers. In the Panzer Grenadier series, Africa Orientale Italiana, all of Italian East Africa 1941. What you get with this game are 671 playing pieces, 8 rigid cardstock maps, and 43 scenarios. Flying Pig Games, Ghost Front, Belgium 1944. This is an expansion to Old School Tactical Volume 2. What you get with this game is one 30 by 41 inch mounted game board, 102 1-inch counters, 11 new scenarios, and a sharp looking box to put it all in. In the Wargame Vault, there is a print and play game called Red Menace, 2nd edition, World War III in 1959. This is a solitaire game, pitting the strategic nuclear and defensive force of the United States, Canada, and the United Kingdom against those of the Soviet Union and its client state, Cuba, in 1959. So the stats for this game is, this is a solitaire game, playing time is 60 to 90 minutes, complexity is 5 out of 10, the unit scale are groups with some squadrons and Soviet air divisions, the time scale is 1 to 1.5 hours per game turn, the map scale is 500 miles per hex. This is a game designed by R. Brent Ward, developed by Barry Kendall. And what you get with this game is one 19-page rulebook, one 7-page scenario book, one 11 by 17 inch color map, one 11 by 17 inch black and white map, 150 3/4 of an inch counters, 2 reference sheets, 21 random event cards, and 12 Soviet city cards. STUKAJOE was unboxing a David Chang game, Glory Recalled, Hong Kong, 1941. This is a complete game of the assault on Hong Kong by Japanese forces in 1941. MAURO FAINA does a playthrough of a naval war game by Jack Green, Togo, Dawn of the Dreadnought. MAURO also does an analysis of the components of Paths of Glory Deluxe. This is in Italian. The OG, the original Grognard, takes a look at the operational Turn 1 for Avalanche Press's game of the Second World War at sea, the Coral Sea. And he'll look at how he's going to run the Japanese forces. This is a game designed by Michael Benninghoff, published by Avalanche Press. I also read a quote from the OG, and he says, "If the Navy taught him how to paint, then it's the right way to paint." Riccardo MASINI has a channel update in Italian. MARCOWARGAMER Arnaldo reviews Worthington Games Hold Fast, Tunisia 1942 to 1943. A game designed by Matt Luby. The artist is Sean Cook, published by Worthington Publishing. Jonathan Townsend, the soft-spoken but formidable foe, is continuing The Second World War by John D. Powers. This is a print-and-play game, one complete cycle of play. The Player's Aid are unboxing 1812 Scorched Earth, a game designed by Ray Weiss, published by Conflict Simulations. Grant and Alexander review Dual Powers Revolution 1917, a game designed by Brett Mayers. The artist is Louis Francisco and Kwachai Moria, I hope I pronounced that right, published by Thunderworks Games. BLASTPOP takes a look at Hatton in Flames, an ASL historical module components and discussion. BLASTPOP examines the components and discusses the ease of campaign play with its manageable size as well as the balanced scenario included in the package. In Flames, Alsace, France, January 1945, is a game designed by Andy Rogers, published by MMP. Blast is also looking at War of the Rings, Lords of Middle-earth by RUIZ. A game designed by Roberto Di Meglio and Marco Maggi and Francesco Nepitello, published by RUIZ Game. You want to know what's happening on the big board? I'll tell you what's happening on the big board. I have no idea. Kevin's got 2 videos out of the same thing, I think. It's the Dark Sands Parts 1 and 2 post-play, amazingly combined into one, he says. And then he's got the Dark Sands Part 2, for those that do not want to search through for the end of Part 1. Well, the Dark Sands is a game designed by Ted Racier. Hex 2 Red 1 Alpha is taking a look at what's inside the box of Second World War at Sea Bismarck, a game designed by Mike Benninghoff, published by Avalanche Press. Hex 2 also unboxes Advanced Squad Leader Starter Kit number 2. Enrico Viglino, the man also famously known as Calandale, is playing turn 4, wrapping up and giving you his review of Europe in Turmoil, Prelude to the Great War, a game designed by Chris Van Burden, published by Compass Games. Counterproductive Games takes a look at Normandy, the beginning of the end, exclusive rules from Draco Ideas. Mo, of Mo's Game Table, he's getting all weird on us, man. He's going sci-fi or something. I mean, what's next? You know, My Little Pony goes to Namby-Pamby Land? Well, anyways, here goes. Mo, of Mo's Game Table, is unboxing Federation Commander, Klingon Border from the Amarillo Design Bureau. Mo also does an unboxing of a White Dog game, War in the Pacific 1941 to 1945, designed by Stephen Pohl and Steve Pohl. The artists, Michael W. Kennedy and Dan Lamb, published by White Dog. Take a look at that minimalistic art. Personally, I love it. Major Tom Solo is doing Warfighter World War II Shore Invasions. And you know, Major Tom Solo, he always gives you a little sit rep before the actual gameplay. You like that, huh? Sit rep. What can I say? Tim Korchnoi of Bare Bones Wargaming takes a opening turn look at a game called 1942. This is an oldie designed by Mark W. Miller. The artist is Sashun Yamaguchi, published by GW or GDW Games. Scusi. Dave of the Centurions Review was unboxing a game by GDW, Blood and Thunder. This is a game designed by Frank Chadwick. Was this game the precursor to Thunder in the East? Dave is also unboxing a Task Force game, a game designed by Mark G. McLaughlin, Viceroys, a game of exploration and empires. Dave also unboxes Air Cobra, 1975 to 1988 modern tactical air mobile warfare, an operational studies group game. This is a game designed by Dave Collins, Tony Meride, and Tom Wowchick. The artist is Larry Catalano. The Centurion also takes a look at The Legend of Robin Hood 1979, a game designed by Joe Bizio, published by, well, it's web published and the Avalon Hill Game Company, or Operational Studies Group. You choose. The guys from the Player's Aid are unboxing Brave Little Belgium from Hollandspiel, a game designed by Ryan Heilman and Dave Shaw. Jeff McAleer of the Gaming Gang takes a look at a couple of games, the first one being Richard Berg and Mark Herman's game, SPQR, the Deluxe Edition. And he's also giving us a Wargame Wednesday bonus, which he'll take a look at Platoon Commander, Poland Strikes, from Tiny Battle Publishing. Emanuele Sant'Andrea of Vento Nuovo Games gives us some strategy tips on a new game to be, Kiev 41. Art, the Chief of Bonding with Board Games has taken a look at a preview of a Martin Wallace game called Malito by Plastic Soldier Company, PSC. A strong man of war games, Rob of Rob's Tabletop World takes a look at his War and Pieces segment, Thunder in the East. Actually, that's Thunder in the East, by Frank Chadwick, published by Victory Point Games. GIMPY of the Gimpy Gamer has a channel update. I don't think you had it in ya, Gimpy. It's mighty fine. Charles Cab and the Charlotte Area Historical Gaming. Charles is at PressCon checking out A Time of Crisis. The Roman Empire in Turmoil, 235 to 284 AD. A game designed by Ray Farrell and Brad Johnson. The artist is Roger B. McGowan, published by GMT.
Hey everybody, Jason here, aka AJ Toynbee. Mr. Dan Pancaldi, a man himself, has asked me to answer 4 questions for him. I guess he's run out of people to ask and drug me out from under a bunch of dilapidated old boxes. So let's step inside and get to it, huh? What do you say? Watch step. Come on in to the humble abode. Well, maybe not so humble, but an abode. I'm gonna grab something to drink, and we'll be getting right to it, so bear with me. There's a game room there. This is the old bourgeois where none of the magic happens. And that brings us to kitchen with, yeah, I don't know if you guys can see this. There we go. Yeah, very nice of Dan. Grab something to drink here and we'll get started, huh? Only the best for this occasion, and the old Guinness glass. All right, let's go. How you guys been? Been all right? That's good. Back through here, into here, and there we are. So I had all these elaborate plans to take you guys all over the place, but all I have is this phone to do interviews and answer questions and things like that. So I don't know if you guys would be able to hear anything I said. If I took you somewhere, I was going to take you to maybe my 4 favorite restaurants, you know, 4 questions, 1 question each restaurant. I had all these elaborate plans, but fell by the wayside, so this will have to suffice. That there, and cheers. Best beer on the planet. All right, here we go. Drum roll. And he says, look, first things first, your tattoos, explain. Oh, I'll explain. Every morning I get up, I take this right here, and I draw them on. No, obviously I don't do that. The tattoo thing started, and it's honestly less fascinating than one might think. As soon as I got out of college, I got my first tattoo, a little one about that big on the top of my back. Then I got another one on here, and then another one over here, and then before I knew it, they were all over the place. So I guess I thought they were cool. Maybe I still do a little bit. I haven't gotten any in a long time. And in fact, if you'll notice on my channel, it takes a long time from the very first, I started with the podcast. It takes a very long time from the very first podcast to where you finally see me. And this is part of it. And I guess I owe everybody an apology because I was afraid folks would be overly judgmental because they have perhaps constructed a preconceived notion of what I look like in their mind or what a war gamer should look like. Obviously, I don't look very conservative or traditional. So I was worried maybe my appearance would distract from people who really, I just wanted to focus on what I was saying. So I stayed away from allowing myself to appear on camera until I said, you know what, this is just silly, because it had gotten to the point where if I was trying to do an unboxing or explain something, you would never see the person speaking. And once I thought about it, I thought, well, that's probably just as annoying as, you know, seeing somebody with tattoos or long, stupid hair or something like that. So I said, maybe it's time to go on camera. It was not a big deal. Nobody cared. And it's a lot easier. It was getting to where I was actively avoiding placing myself on camera, and it was getting silly. So to answer your question, to explain the tattoos, again, I haven't gotten any in a long time. Sometimes they're annoying. I wish I could get rid of them. People do, whether you like it or not, judge a book by its cover. But I gotta live with it. It was my choice. You know, when you're younger, you make decisions that you don't think you have to worry about later on in life, right? You're a lot more idealistic, or at least tend to be when you're younger. So maybe that explains the tattoos. I don't know. Then we have, what do you do for a living? All right, you ready for this one? Everybody's sitting down. Nobody's got any sharp objects in their hands that they're going to fall and impale themselves with. I work at a library, and I would love to say I'm a librarian, but technically I'm not a librarian. I'm a library associate. What does that mean? That means I don't have a degree in library science. I have a degree, but not in library science. What is the degree in? It's a degree in religious studies and a minor in philosophy. I started my master's degree in philosophy and was so burned out on school by then, I decided I was going to take a break, and I never went back. But work at the library, and the library here, I have mentioned on the podcast before, is a very interesting place. It's a little less library and more shelter. Is that putting it nicely? We have a lot of people that are not well off that use the library for, I guess, anything and everything you could think of. If you don't have a home, and it's a sad thing, it's a concerning thing, but sometimes it gets out of hand and it gets to be a little too much. I could tell you some stories, but okay, I will tell you a story. Probably the most horrific event I can think that occurred while I was at the library was a gentleman who I don't even remember why he was upset, and I use the term gentleman loosely, but he rolled in there with a bottle of wine and a glass, and some of the wine was in the glass, and he had, I guess, I was never able to fully verify or fact check this, I guess he had crawfish fettuccine. Yeah, it's New Orleans, we're in the South. Stuff like that, right? Crawfish fettuccine. I miss why he was upset, but as soon as he became upset, he started flinging that crawfish fettuccine around. It was in like a plastic bag, and I don't know how, but the bag came apart, and he kept flinging it, and there was crawfish fettuccine all over the library, all over the computers. He took his wine, threw the wine all over the place, and then proceeded to do like the football, in practice, where you see him run against the bumper things, and I don't know football, I know hockey, sorry. He proceeded to do that against the bookshelves, and then on his way out, he tried to knock down the security things that beep when you go out with a book that hasn't been checked out. Happens all the time, believe it or not. Knocked those sideways, and the legend goes, he made it about 3 blocks away when he found a chair, threw it through a bus window that was passing by before he was finally arrested. That's the craziest thing that has happened, but there's a lot of other things included as well. The library, I swear, if somebody was to do a reality TV show at the library, specifically the one I work at, downtown New Orleans, it would be a smash TV hit. I swear it. Okay, 1.B, do you play Euros? If so, which ones? I don't typically play Euros. If so, which ones? What is a Euro everything that wargamers don't like? Is that what a Euro is? Euros aren't specifically made in Europe. I guess it's a game mechanic that is was popularized in Europe. I don't know. I have to admit I played this, alright? Lord of the Rings, a living card game. I love the Lord of the Rings. That's not why I played it. 9 times out of 10, I'm playing a game to learn the mechanic that is used to run the game. That fascinates me. It's like a kid that wants to take apart the radio or the TV and examine everything inside and put it back together. Most people want to listen to the radio. Most people want to watch the TV. When it comes to games, that's where I'm at. I want to pick them apart, reverse engineer them, tweak them, change them, make them my own thing. I'm a mess. I'm all over the place. So, do I play Euros? I guess I play Euros, not very often. Is Victory and Glory a Euro? I don't know. I tried to play that. That was extremely disappointing. I don't play them often, but sometimes, yeah. I don't actively avoid Euros, okay? So, there's that. What do we have next here? We have... See, here we go again with... You look like a tough guy. Do I? Really? But your puppy dog eyes... Oh, Jesus. Gives you away. What are you trying to hide? I'm not trying to hide anything, man. Look, I didn't always look like this, alright? If you would have ran into me about... Well, we all look different in the past, but I mean... Half a dozen years ago, I mean, maybe a little more, I used to have a clean-shaven face. I had really short, black, spiky hair. It's a little... kind of on the punk rocker type tip look-esque-ish thing. And then I met this lady, and she slowly encouraged me to grow your hair out and not be clean-shaven all the time. That eventually became a habit of neglect, if you will. It's a lot easier to maintain an unkempt look as opposed to a manicured look. Look like a tough guy. No, I'm not a tough guy. I'm far from a tough guy. I'm the most timid creature you might meet. I hate stress. I avoid conflict. Might have thought I was tough back in the day, but that quickly got shoved down my throat. I got in a fight, and that changed my perception of being tough, and changed my mind about if I wanted to be a tough guy or not pretty quick. Let's see, what else? Do you attend any cons? No, I don't. I have attended one con. It's not that I don't like them. I would love to attend more cons. What was the con I attended, you ask? That would be the Heat of Battle Wargame Convention here in New Orleans at, get this, the World War II History Museum. How cool is that? It was extremely cool. That was probably 2014, something like that. And it was the first, or I think first summer I had moved here. And I had a blast. I was nervous about going because, again, I was worried about people would be too distracted about how I look, which is stupid. And didn't know anybody. But once I got there, you know, anybody that hasn't been to a con or is like has anxiety about going, that's ridiculous. It's like a big family there. And I wrote a piece afterwards that says the wargaming tribe does not eat its young. It's not like that. People are glad to see each other. It's a very heavy community aspect going on with these conventions. Nobody's there to like act tough or look cool, or they're just there to have fun and meet people. And I met a lot of great people. As it turns out, there's a small wargaming niche here in New Orleans. I'm embarrassed to say I've never gone as far as meeting up with these people. It's a different story. They're great folks though. There was a ton of great games there. In fact, that's where I saw Shenandoah Studios' booth set up with the Battle of the Bulge game by John Butterfield. And I fell in love with that game. In fact, the guy that was running it, he loved the game so much, he contacted Shenandoah and asked him if he could present the game. And this was at a time when it had just been released on iOS. But he had the physical playtest components set up. And I've talked about this on videos. I fell in love and eventually was able to get a copy of that game all the playtest stuff from Eric Lee Smith himself, who was very generous to do so, allowed me to enjoy that game in the leisure of my own home. So go to a con. Yes, I've been to a con, Heat of Battle here in New Orleans. Haven't been to one since. I would love to go to one. I'd love to go to Winter Offensive. Gen Con, you know, why not? There's so many of them now. I mean, just go. If you've never been, go. I highly recommend it. With more and more companies putting out their own tactical systems, do you think ASL will go the way of the dodo? No, I don't. You know, all right, here's the deal with the ASL. People still are of the opinion that ASL is dated. It's not going to hold up. It's slowly going to fade away. It's never going to go away. It might get less attention than it did the day before, if you catch my drift. That's fine. The worst case scenario is ASL falls back behind the scenes, goes underground. That's the worst case scenario. It's never going to go away. There's too many people that live and breathe this stuff, and ASL is not a game. It's a way of life. It's a religion for a lot of people. That being said, you know, it has a very, very, very fanatic following. There is often concern that as people get older in age, ASL will die out with the people playing it because people are getting older. I don't know. I see a lot of young people coming into it, asking about it, and inquiring about it. Especially with the ASL starter kits, which was a great move on MMP's part to bring new sheep into the fold, if you will. ASL's not going anywhere. It is proven that it is here to stay. Well, I can't think of at least another tactical game system that has had the staying power, the longevity of ASL. Maybe I'm forgetting something, but ASL continues to flourish. There's new stuff coming out consistently, and that's just official stuff. Look at all the third-party products that are out there. Even if MMP, God forbid, blew away and was around no more, there's enough third-party stuff out and that will be continued to be produced that can keep ASL going. ASL is healthy, it's fine, it has a future ahead of it. Some might not agree with that, that's fine, you don't have to agree. But I'm just telling you that how it is. With more and more can see, who is one of your favorite designers? Eric Lee Smith. Ambush is a fantastic game. Ambush is the best game I've played as far as having a narrative story feel. That game, and this is, I don't know that they had anything to do with computers in creating this. They just sat down and hashed this thing out. And it basically, if you think about it, Ambush, Battle Hymn. My first game I played was Battle Hymn, and that just blew me away. And then I got into Ambush, so I did it kind of backwards. But when you think about it, those games are like choose-your-own adventure novels. I don't know if any of you know what I'm talking about or remember those things, but basically it's a choose-your-own adventure novel with a map and counters. It's brilliant, it's great. The design is ingenious, it's very innovative. So Eric Lee Smith, definitely. Adam Starkweather, I gotta throw him out there. The things that he's doing, his approach to packaging a game and designing a game is very tight. Again, it's just my opinion, but that's been my experience from the games that I've played by Adam. He's doing great stuff. Shane Logan's doing good stuff. There's a lot of people, not just, you know, you asked about ASL. Will ASL go the way of the dodo? Some people ask, will board war gaming go the way of the dodo? And no, it will not. In fact, I've argued this is the golden era of board wargaming. There's stuff coming out left and right. Not all of it good, but there's stuff coming out. It would behoove us to better our filters so that we can sift through a lot of this stuff coming out and sift through the good stuff and the bad stuff. But tons of stuff coming out. And part of the reason is it's easier to get something published. You could even do it yourself. Case in point, me. I've self-published a number of things. They're probably not the best products out there. In fact, I'd guarantee they're not. But it proves that anybody can do it. And when I got bored one day in that dorm room at UNO, and I decided, hey, I'm gonna put some of these design tweaks in a game and put it out there, I was surprised at the reception it got. Very well received, and which prompted me to do more games. And you know, people perhaps are under the impression that it's difficult or impossible to get a game out there. You have to know somebody. You have to go through GMT or one of these big guys. It's not like that. Maybe it was at one time. You have to go through these big publishers. It's not like that anymore. If you can't do it yourself, there's a ton of little publishers that would possibly take your game and publish it. And then look at all the magazine games even that you could get published in. The sky's the limit. But we are in the golden age of board wargaming, and I truly believe that. So you asked, you recently published So the question was, who is one of your favorite designers? I went off on a tangent, I apologize. But that's my answer. Question 3A, being a St. Louis Blues fan. No, what are you, I'm not a St. Louis, yeah, I'm a St. Louis Blues fan. I got it bad. But let me finish, hold on, let me finish the question. Being a St. Louis Blues fan, you know we can never be besties. What are you talking about? I thought we were. Don't you want to be besties? All right, well, you know, I guess I do. I thought we were, but apparently there's a problem with that. Okay, for those of you who don't know, it's my understanding that Dan was a Montreal Canadiens fan. Something happened that soured Dan. I'm sorry that happened, Dan. Montreal's, you know, you can still watch them. They're still a good team. It's not all is lost. But yeah, I'm a St. Louis Blues fan. Can we still be friends? Yeah, except when we're playing each other. Then I don't like you. Sorry, it's nothing personal. But if you're not gonna like the Blues and we're playing each other, go sit over, go away. I don't like you. Sorry. But yeah, we can be besties otherwise. Love hockey. Definitely love hockey. If I'm not playing a war game, I'm doing something with hockey, and I've always wanted to design a board hockey game. That may happen at some point. But love hockey, and I don't know what to say about that. 3B, you guys still with me? You recently published a magazine called Hexes and Soldiers. Do you plan on doing more? All right. Yeah, I guess I did publish a magazine called Hexes and Soldiers. I plan on doing more. The problem with me and designing and publishing something is I work really hard for a while until I burn myself out, and then I say I'm not doing anything ever again. And then I get that itch, right? And then I got to do something. So I had done a number of games. I think Soldiers of the Sun was the last major game I did. And then did a couple little micro games, just more or less idea shells, if you will. And I thought, I don't want to do a game again. I want to do something different. So I thought, I'm going to do a magazine. You don't have to play test a magazine. You got to edit it. That's true. Well, there's a lot of things that a magazine that appeals to putting out a magazine as opposed to a game. So I put the call out for people to contribute, and I'll be darned, some, in my opinion, some lofty, hefty folks contributed, and I thank you guys again. In the future, I do plan on doing another one. As to when, I'm not sure. I've gone unofficially on record as saying this will be an annual thing, so it may be a while, but I've gotten a lot of positive feedback regarding the magazine. And again, I really owe thanks to the contributors. I just kind of shaped the stuff that they put into the magazine. I'd like to do another one. It may be a while, but I would add that if you want another magazine, then contribute some stuff so we can get another one out. The magazine will only ever be as good as the contributions I receive to put in it. So the more I hear from you guys, the better this thing will be. Otherwise, I got to fill it with a bunch of stuff from me, and nobody wants to hear me windbagging all through the thing, right? So long story short, yes, there should be another one. I don't know when. You guys can send contributions to hsgames@gmx.com. Don't worry about the format or the font size or anything like that. I'll take care of all that. Length varies. If you want to send a long article, that's fine. If you want to send a short one, that's fine. But I would ask that whatever you send has kind of a timeless aspect to it. If you do a specific game review or even to an extent a playthrough, that can kind of date itself. And that's the other thing with the magazine, and I've finally gotten people that have picked up on this. Initially, folks were like, you need to do this and you need to do that because these other magazines have this and that in it. And I thought, you're not getting it. I don't want a magazine like these other magazines because there's already those other magazines. I want something different. I want something a little more personal. I want something a little more communal and close to home. Don't get me wrong, reviews are great. Playthroughs are fine. I don't particularly care for them. They're fine, they have their place, but I wanted something more personal that people could relate to in this thing than just a narration of a game that is being played through or a very dry review of something. I'm very happy with the contributions I got because very personal, and that's what I'm going for moving forward as well. So I don't know if any of that made sense. I think I'm keep going off on tangents. 3C is your motto, ASL or bust? No, well, maybe a little bit, but no, it's not ASL or bust. If I could never play ASL again, would I stop gaming? Of course not. No, of course not. There's a ton of stuff worth playing, not just ASL. I would add that if I was to go to a desert island, my go-to game that I would bring is probably ASL, just because tactically speaking, it's anything you want is in there. Any possibility of something occurring that would occur in an actual fight is in the rules for ASL, and there's so many scenarios. You can fight virtually anywhere with any unit against any unit. It's fantastic. Alright, special tattoo guy segment. Dan, you're gonna have to edit this down. I'm sorry, brother. Marlon Brando or Clint Eastwood? Steve McQueen. Poland 1939 or Berlin 45? Not so much either one, but if I have to choose, I guess Poland 1939. Berlin 45, it's just depressing to play it. The war is almost over. What's the point? I mean, the inevitable is in your face. It's not like you can change the course of history, you know, unless you're playing an alternative history game. But Poland 39, it's still, things are still new and fresh, and there's hope springs eternal, and there's all this stuff. Tactical or strategic? Oh my God, tactical. There's something about strategic, and as I get older, I move less and less, more and more away from it. I respect strategic games, even operational games. I just, again, there's something about them that seems, I feel too far removed from what's going on. I need that down in there with the guy's personal feeling. I don't get that from strategic games. It's interesting to watch the movement across a map and compare that or contrast that to history, but it doesn't do it enough for me, so it's got to be tactical. Gettysburg or Battle of the Bulge? Oh, Battle of the Bulge. It's got to be Battle of the Bulge. Harley Davidson or 10-speeder? Do you Canucks call 10-speeds 10-speeders? Is it a bike? A 10-speeder? Harley Davidson or 10-speeder? I'm a practical guy, so as much as I would love to have a Harley Davidson, I would probably kill myself on one. So I'm going to say 10-speed. Wine or beer? It depends on my mood. I can go either way. Typically, the wine comes about if I'm eating something that causes me to crave wine, and then it's not. I hate cold refrigerated wine. I hate white wine. It's got to be red wine, Merlot, Cabernet, Shiraz, that type of stuff. Beer, I like Brooklyn Lager, so lagers, and I like Guinness, so beer's good stuff too. Dracula or Frankenstein? Depends on when you ask. So I guess currently Frankenstein. Dracula seems kind of like a aloof, elitist snob. I can't relate to that. It doesn't scare me. He just seems like a jerk. Frankenstein, I can relate better to his character, right? He didn't ask to be what he has become. It's very existential, right? He's kind of thrown into existence, and he has to deal with existence to the best of his ability, not always succeeding, in fact failing. I can relate to that, I think. So Frankenstein. Sophie Loren or Elizabeth Taylor? That's a tough one. It's a tough one. I'll have to get back to you on that. If you had the choice, beer with vodka, ronke? Oh, no. I don't mess with liquor. I hate shots. If I'm at the bar and you buy me a shot, I'll be offended. I hate that stuff. Tastes like crap. I don't like it. Buy me a beer. Buy me a glass of wine. Don't buy me a shot. I don't like liquor. So beer with vodka runke. Oh, vodka runke, not vodka. Yeah, beer with vodka. Definitely beer with vodka. That said, maybe vodka should have his own vodka. Vodka vodka. Scotch single malt with Mark Herman. Yeah, I don't know. I pass on the Scotch with Mark Herman. I'd love to hang out with Mark Herman. Don't know if I could do Scotch though. Let's see, if you had the choice. What if I had to choose between the two? I'm sorry, Mark. Don't take this the wrong way, buddy. It's probably going to be beer with vodka. Yeah, that's probably the way I gotta go. Finally! Is the Grognard dead? What? He died? He had to have been like in his late 90s. I didn't know this. Are you asking that he didn't die, did he? The Grognard? Now I gotta check. Now I'm concerned. I hope he didn't die. Alright, I hope you guys enjoyed. I'll catch you on the flip side. Keep watching No Enemies Here and keep gaming.
Hey everybody, it's Keith from WarGameHQ.com. And this week we have two articles for you. The first article is all about Fire in the Lake. Now we're going to be looking at player count, player interactions, and those dastardly event cards. So be sure to check out that article. The second article this week is all about unit ratings. If you've ever griped or complained about why a unit was rated the way it was, hopefully this article will give you a little insight into why it may not matter as much as you think. Be sure to check out No Enemies Here on YouTube, subscribe to them, and starting this week, you're able to find new episodes of No Enemies Here published on WarGameHQ.com. So until then, thank you. This has been Keith from WarGameHQ.com for No Enemies Here.
The year is 1868, and we are in one of the more exclusive parts of old London town, not my bit then. Walking into a well-known and exclusive retail emporium of the time is one Colonel the Right Honourable Augustus Fulton Willoughby. With him are two of his children, the 10-year-old Arthur Fulton Willoughby and his younger sister Clarissa. Deciding to indulge them while still waiting for a command in a war that, disappointingly, hasn't started yet, Papa has taken them to the children's department in search of improving materials for their periods of parentally sanctioned distraction. The attendant. How may I be of assistance, sir? Augustus. That game, there. Attendant. Retrieving said item. Oh, an excellent choice, sir. The British Boys' Waterloo Extravaganza. Augustus. What's in it? Mud and blood, eh, what? Attendant. The British Boys Waterloo Extravaganza is an entertainment for British boys and consists of 2 skittles, one painted in the semblance of Bonaparte and the other in the costume of an Imperial Guardsman. 2 British boys then take turns trying to bowl over their Frenchie with a supplied wooden shot, to the vast amusement of the watching multitude. Augustus. Splendid! Fancy that, young man? Arthur. If you say so, father. Augustus. If you say so, sir. I do say so, sir. I suppose you prefer some vapid frivolity with common and morally heinous associations.
PressCon 2019, the Board Game Convention. Charlottesville, Virginia, February 25th to March 3rd. PressCon will be taking place at the Doubletree, Charlottesville, 990 Hilton Heights Road in Charlottesville, Virginia. Dice Tower West, the 6th to the 10th of March 2019. That's right, 2019 in Las Vegas. Ladies and gentlemen, it's sold out. The Dice Tower West will be held at the Westgate Resort in Las Vegas. Gary Con 11, March 7th to the 10th, 2019 in Lake Geneva, Wisconsin. Now, the Gary Con is named after a man called Gary Gygax, and I just learned this. Gary Gygax was the co-creator of Dungeons & Dragons and the co-founder of TSR. And he was also the co-founder of the International Federation of Wargamers. This is Gary Gygax. Now do yourself a favor and go check out Gary Con's webpage and see the special guests who are going to be there. You're going to flip out. Gary Con. AirCon, the Analog Gaming Festival, is happening in the United Kingdom in Harrogate Convention Center, Friday the 8th till Sunday the 10th, March 2019. The BFG Con 2019, the Big Frederick Gaming Convention, is happening March 15th to the 17th, 2019 in Frederick, Maryland. The BFG Con is happening in the Clarion Inn and Event Center in Frederick, Maryland. Adepticon 17 is the world's premier wargaming convention that is happening March 27th to the 31st, 2019. Adepticon has 4,500 attendees and will be held at the Renaissance Schaumburg Convention Center Hotel in Schaumburg, Illinois. Another week, another show. Thank you for watching. Thank you to my supporters. Please, if you'd like to support this channel, check out the link below on the Patreon. And I'll see you next week. What's this album? Dave is also unboxing.